Hello, good afternoon and welcome along to the horseracing.net preview of Saturday's big racing action. We're going to be taking a look at the 7 races due to be televised on ITV with a view to hopefully having a good old go at the ITV7 permutation. If you're not already aware, it's a free game that ITV put together, and if you can crack all 7 races at a broadcast, you stand a chance of winning a share of I believe £50,000 jackpot on Saturday, so well worth having a go for free. Hopefully we can point you in the direction of a few winners here on horseracing.net, and if you head over to the website, there'll be full write-ups for each of the 7 races, so do go and check the preview out. And if you're enjoying these videos, do like and subscribe as well, and follow us on Twitter at horseracing.net. So anyway, we'll start with the feature on Saturday. There's racing at Goodwood, Newmarket and Windsor, and the feature is at 3:35 at Goodwood. It's the Group 2 Celebration Mile, and this is an interesting race. It's the kind of race, due to its position in the calendar, that doesn't always attract the tippy top performers in the miling division, because it's so close to the York Festival, and Goodwood as course as well was just earlier this month. But we do have a big name this time around in the form of Benbath, who is the 3-1 joint favourite with Regal Reality. Benbath is a Group 1 winning performer. He won the Cox Plate down in Australia in 2018. He is capable of high-class form, and his seasons tend to be built around a tilt at the Dubai World Cup. Didn't get a chance to run in it this year when favourite due to the coronavirus shutdown, but he's a high-class performer on his day. And if he brings his best form to the table, he's going to be very difficult to beat here. The key question around him is the ground. He doesn't tend to like it too testing, and that could be a problem here because it's been raining all week. It's forecast soft ground at the moment. If it gets any wetter, he may be pulled out. It's going to be a nervous 24 hours or so for the Saeed bin Saror team, but he's a 3-1 at the moment. I think that represents good value here to overcome tricky conditions and prove his class, but it won't be easy. Regal Reality arrives here in really good form, won a Group 3 contest at Salisbury last time, the Sovereign Stakes, in really good style. He'd be the biggest threat, while Duke of Hazzard has a good record at Goodwood, won this race 12 months ago. This is stronger this time around, but he's a threat as well. But I think Benbath is the class act in the field here. He's going to be very difficult to beat in the Celebration Mile. We'll take a look now at the rest of the ITV7 action. We'll go back to the start. This is the 2:05 at Newmarket. This is a listed contest, the Hopeful Stakes. This is over 6 furlongs. It's a sprint here, and there's a familiar name at the top of the market. That is Summerghond. Now, we've talked about Goodwood. He's got plenty of previous at Goodwood because he won the Stewards' Cup at the beginning of the month, and that was a really, really good performance. Shouldered top weight that day, mark of 108, won the Stewards' Cup, one of the most competitive handicaps of the season, and to win a handicap like that off a mark so high was a group level performance. Really smart stuff from Summerghond. Steps up into listed company for the first time here, has run at group level before in the past, but this is his first crack at listed company, and very much sets the standard on the form of his Stewards' Cup success. I think he's there's a very good chance that he'll follow that up. He's been holding his form really well so far this season, and he looks a really good prospect for the David O'Meara team at about 11-4 to keep that good run of form going and going again. Summerghond to prove too good for this field. Next race is in just 5 minutes' time. It's at Windsor. This is the racecoursemarina.com handicap. It's a 9-runner handicap over a mile, and you'll have to bear with us a little bit here because at the time of recording, at the time of writing as well, if you head to the website, we're still waiting for bookmakers to price this up. So having to go off forecast prices here, which means not the clearest of pictures. It means that we're devoid of any real market clues, and what I would say is, close to the time, if you're watching this on Saturday morning, to pay attention to the market. If there's any significant movers, either positive or negative, do take those into account. But purely on form, I think global warming's going to have a very good chance here. He arrives here in really good heart for the Ed Dunlop team. Now, this isn't the strongest race we'll see on ITV all day or all year. It's a Class 4 handicap, but he's a very solid performer at this sort of level. He has only won just once from his 9 starts, but made a really good outing at Wolverhampton last time. There was plenty to like about it. Built on a reappearance at Newcastle in June, and then finished a really good second at Wolverhampton last time out. Was no match for the winner that day. But the bare form of the effort was pretty strong for this sort of level. He faces an extra furlong here, which should hold no fears. And off the same mark as last time, and without the benefit of market clues, I think global warming will go very, very close here. So the 210 at Windsor, pay attention to the betting close to the time, but global warning won't be too far away on form. Over to Goodwood now for the 225. This is a long-winded title. It's a handicap anyway. Over 7 furlongs, 10 runners due to go to post. And this is pretty open stuff. It's possible to make a case for plenty of these. And what I would say as well is a lot of these come in here looking with something to prove. Card Sharp hasn't shown it for quite some time now. Almatellarium, I can never pronounce that properly, is another capable of smart form on his day, but has something to prove. You've got a couple in here as well on the up. Magical Wish was a game winner at Doncaster last time out on ITV as well. So plenty to pay attention to. But the one I think it could be worth siding with here is with the top weight, Oh This Is Us. And it's the old saying, isn't it, when you approach a handicap to always look at the top weight. And he's a smart type at his best. It's a year now, or just shy of, since he last got his head in front. But there's no doubting that at his peak, he's more than capable of mixing it here. And what I would say about Oh This Is Us as well is that he's been holding his own pretty well at higher levels than this so far this season. Each of his last 3 runs have come in listed company, and he's been there or thereabouts. He was down the field in a handicap at Doncaster last time out, but he arrives here fit. He's £2 lower for his last success, and I think he's an interesting type. He tends to need everything to fall right. That's because he is played very late in his races, but there is a forecast strong pace here, so it should play into his hands. And although Goodwood isn't always the most reliable of places to avoid traffic issues, I think it's worth siding with him at about 8-1 to overcome those and hopefully rattle down the outside in the closing stages. So Oh This Is Us at 8-1 in the third race in ITV, the 225 at Goodwood. Move on to Windsor now for the 240, another listed contest. This is the August Stakes. It's over just shy of 1.5 miles, 1 mile, 3.5 furlongs, and pretty cagey stuff this. 6 due to go to post. And the market at the moment, anyway, at the time of recording, is pretty close. We've got a 5-2 market leader in Desert Encounter, and a lot of these are familiar names. A lot of these are regulars in Group Company, stepping down to listed level. But it's one at a slightly bigger price that's catching my eye, and that is the Royal Runner Sextant, who is about 7-1 at the time of recording, so 4th choice in the market of 6. And that's possibly because he was a long way behind a really progressive, very exciting Hookham on reappearance in the Geoffrey Freer Stakes at Newbury 2 weeks ago. That was a Group 3 contest. He was beaten just over 9 lengths that day. But I thought he shaped pretty well. He travelled into the race reasonably well, and then he should certainly strip fitter for that as well. He comes here, it's slightly less today. He's dropped back at 1.5 furlongs in trip. That should play into his hands. And it's worth noting that he is capable of some good form at his peak, Sextant. He won a listed contest, a similarly tactical sort of listed contest at Chester this time last year. And a repeat of that performance, the bare form of which we're putting right into the mix for this. It's worth noting as well that he's had 2 runs at Newbury, both in the Geoffrey Freer Stakes. He struggled on both occasions. But this sort of tight makeup at Windsor, the track should very much play into his hands. At about 7-1, I think he offers plenty of value. And I think he could be worth playing to sneak this for the Queen. Moving on to Newmarket now, 5 minutes later for the 245. This is a handicap over 7 furlongs, 6 again due to go to post here. And this could be a very good 10 minutes or so for Her Majesty the Queen, because I think Evening Sun looks well placed to go well here. He made a winning return 3 starts ago now in a novice event over course and distance back in June. And I think he's run really well in 2 starts since, both here and at Ascot over a mile. He's finished in the places on both occasions. He was second here over a mile last time out. Thought that was a really good run. It's form that reads really well in the context of this race. He's been raised just £2 for his most recent effort at HQ. Jason Watson's booked to ride. I think he'll go very close indeed. Evening Sun in the 245. And last but not least, we head back to Windsor for a group race. This is the Group 3 Winter Hill Stakes. This is a really interesting contest over 10 furlongs, a mile and a quarter. And quite simply, I think it's very difficult to look past Fox Chairman. He's pretty lightly raced for his age as a 4-year-old, but it's been very difficult to not be impressed with what he's shown so far this season in his 3 runs. He's improved for each of those starts. Came on for the run at Ascot back in June and has run really well the last twice at Sandown and York, and produced a career best effort to finish second in a Group 2 contest over this trip at York last month. He was only beaten by Aspetar. He was beaten pretty convincingly, admittedly, but he looks above average for that kind of level. He's dropped back in class here, back down to a Group 3 contest. That form reads very, very well. If he can repeat that here, he's going to be very difficult to beat, particularly when you bear in mind that he has proven in testing conditions. He can be a group winner here for Sylvester de Souza and Andrew Balding. Okay, that was the horseracing.net preview of Saturday's action. Do like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed it. Hopefully tip you a few winners, and we'll be back next week for the Group 1 Sprint Cup at Haydock Park.